What is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Wednesday, February 15th slate of NBA action. Super excited to dive into it. We have a gorgeous slate on today, man. We have some absolutely great games on, and I'm super excited to dive into those. We do have 3 official plays, and then of course we do have our consensus play as well. So before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. I did end up putting, just in case you guys didn't miss it, I put up a YouTube short for the play that I did end up having yesterday. I was trying to decide if I just wanted to do just one play or if I wanted to do 2, but I only found one that I really liked. And that one, of course, did end up hitting it. We did end up having Paolo under 19.5 points versus Toronto at minus 110 odds. This one ended up working out for us. He finishes with 13 points, and it really wasn't close at all, really. So that one ended up working out for us, and there was no sweat to this one whatsoever. We've been really good on Banchero props, so he might have to go in the royalty here soon, but we'll save that for a rainy day. But without any further ado, we also ended up adding Paul George over 21.5 points. Mentioned it on my Twitter. Mentioned it in the comment section of the YouTube short that I did have as well. We got trapped. We got absolutely trapped. That line was just so low. It was so low versus a Golden State Warriors team, and I think if Klay Thompson doesn't play in this one, I think it does alter things just a little bit. But regardless, he was one basket short. He finished with 20 points. The Prize Picks taco did end up dropping down to 17.5 points for him. So if you took that on Prize Picks, congratulations. That's a great win. But if you didn't, then unfortunately we lost by just a bucket. But regardless, we ended up going 1-1 on our day. We ended up losing just a little bit of juice. The only thing I did want to touch on before we dive into officially today's plays, I am still continuing the NBA Imperialism thing that I did mention as of last full-length video. That is still going to be a thing. It's just I'm going to keep it in shorts version. I just wanted to implement the actual idea of it in video version, so that way everybody could understand it a little bit better, So I wanted to definitely do that. I'm still going to be doing it. We actually had our first elimination, which is pretty crazy. But we did have our first official elimination, and that is still going to be going on. It's just going to be in shorts version, uploaded a little bit later throughout the day. So, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's play. So for our first official play of the day, we're going to be taking Keldon Johnson over 24.5 points here versus Charlotte at minus 105 odds. Now, Keldon Johnson is one of those players that it's kind of hard to predict what he's really going to do on any given night, but I think that this is a great spot to be able to take his over. He has gone over in 2 straight games, and it was against much better defenses than this Charlotte defense for sure. He hit the over against Cleveland. He finished with 25, and he hit the over versus Atlanta, where he finished 25. Both of those defenses are so much better in every statistical category than the Charlotte Hornets, and so I do think that he is going to have a much better matchup here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte does also allow the 3rd most points per game to opposing small forwards and the most points per game in not only the last 30, but also the last 15 and the last 7 games. So the Charlotte Hornets have just been letting the guys go by and scoring buckets at that small forward position. So if we see any of that again, I think Keldon Johnson's going to hit this over very easily. I think that Gordon Hayward is still, he's actually been pretty good over the last week or two, but not on the defensive end. That is not where he thrives whatsoever. So I really do like this one here. Charlotte also allows the 3rd most points per game to opposing teams in general. They give up a ton of points. A lot of their scores are just wicked high. This over-under set to 241. That says all that we really need to know. It should be a very high-scoring game. Charlotte has the 6th worst defensive efficiency in all of basketball, so they're one of the worst defenses in all of basketball. And he has gone over in 1 out of his last 2 games versus Charlotte. The only one that he didn't end up going under, which was last game versus Charlotte, was the 2nd game of the year, and Devin Vassell was in the game taking 15 shots away. Well, just in case you guys have been living under a rock for a little bit, Devin Vassell has been out for a long time. He's been sidelined with an injury. So with that being said, Keldon Johnson is the guy in this situation. He should see right around 17 to 20 shots. And I think he can easily get to this 24, especially if he can get to the line. So I really do like this one here for our first official play of the day. Keldon Johnson over 24.5 points here versus Charlotte at minus 105 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're taking Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds here versus Brooklyn at minus 120 odds. Now, before I have anybody coming at me and, looking at his logs, King Sanders, Bam Adebayo has been really bad to this over. Why would you want to take it? Hear me out. He has only gone over in 1 out of his last 4 games, but I think that this is a really good spot for him. He's going to be playing against Brooklyn. Now, let's not forget about the centers that Brooklyn does have. We're talking about Nicholas Claxton, cannot shoot a lick. We're talking about Ben Simmons, absolutely cannot shoot a lick. We're talking about Day'Ron Sharpe, not necessarily a good shooter. Bam Adebayo is going to be spending a ton of time in the paint. He's going to be spending like 99% of the time in the paint, and I think that this is a spot that he is going to go over. I think that we do see a monstrous rebounding game from him. The Nets are still a good team regardless of the trades that they did end up making, so this game should be right down to the wire. Bam Adebayo should get plenty of playing time. The Nets do allow the 8th most rebounds per game to opposing centers and the 3rd most rebounds per game in the last 7 games. So I know that the Nets have been pretty solid, but overall they've still been giving up a ton of rebounds, and it's because of the players that are in there. I know that Nicholas Claxton is a good rebounder just in general, but he is an inside center, and at the end of the day, if you're going up against an inside center, they're going to be spending a lot of time around the paint, and it's going to force a lot of these centers to accidentally just fall into rebounds, So they could be getting a couple extra there as well. Also, not to mention, both these teams are pretty good defensively too. I know that the Miami Heat have always, over the course of ever since I've been alive, have always been a pretty good defense. But not to mention, the Brooklyn Nets, with their new look roster, they've actually been playing pretty good defense too. So they should see plenty of misses in this game, and a ton of them should be going to Bam Adebayo. So I really do like this one here for our second official play of the day. Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds here versus Brooklyn at minus 120 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we are taking Jalen Green under 23.5 points here versus the Thunder at minus 110 odds. Now I like this play for a couple different reasons. He has only hit the over 1 time versus the OKC Thunder in his career. So he has not been good to this line versus the OKC Thunder. Also, the spread is massive in this one. It's a double-digit spread already opening up. So I think that this is a spot that the OKC Thunder could take advantage of this game early. Also, Lou Dort is back. Let's not forget about that. Lou Dort is a defensive force. So if you're going to be adding back the best defensive player on OKC, you're adding him back to probably guard Jalen Green. I don't know how they're going to do it for sure, obviously, but I think that he is going to see a lot of time on Jalen Green. That is going to make it tough for him. And in the last 15 games, the Thunder have allowed the 5th fewest points per game to opposing shooting guards and the 10th fewest in the last 7. So they've been locked down to that shooting guard position, and I don't expect anything to change. And he did end up hitting his over last game versus the 76ers. He finished with 29 points, but in that game, he shot 17 free throws and made 15 of them. So he literally only had 14 points that weren't cut from the free throw line. So I think that this is a pretty good spot overall. And let's not forget, OKC, I know that they're not going to be an elite defense, but they're still 12th in defensive efficiency. It's not like they're an abysmal defense whatsoever. They do lack a big man as of right now, just because of all the injuries and stuff that they do have. But they're still a pretty good defense. And when you're talking about the shooting guard position, they have plenty of people to guard that. So I really do like this one here. And they're a better defense at home too. I'm not going to forget about that. So I really do like this one here for our third and final play of the day. Jalen Green under 23.5 points here versus the Thunder at minus 110 odds. Now for our consensus play of the day, we are going to the Cavs and the 76ers game. The 76ers are currently 2.5 point favorites. And so from left to right, we do have Brady. Brady is going to be taking the 76ers. We have Mitch. Mitch is going to be taking the Cavs. We have Ryan. Ryan is going to be taking the 76ers. We have Seth. Seth is going to be taking the Cavs. And so it comes down to me. It's 2-2. And I'm riding with the 76ers on this one. And it's not necessarily because I think that the 76ers are so much better than this Cleveland team. But I do think that in this situation, the Cavs are not a great road team, and I think that that is going to have an effect on them. The 76ers also haven't been playing tremendous, so I think this is a spot that they easily could bounce back. So I really do like this one here for our consensus play of the day. 76ers minus 2.5 here versus the Cavs at minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sander signing out. Peace.